The US-China trade war is not a new phenomenon. It first reared its head in 2018 during the Trump administration. Initial salvos of tariffs were exchanged, creating a climate of uncertainty and tension. However, the current iteration of the trade war, marked by a dramatic escalation in April 2025, represents a significant departure from the past. This time, the stakes are higher, the rhetoric is more heated, and the potential consequences are more severe. The world watches with bated breath as these two economic giants lock horns in a battle that could reshape the global order. The initial trade war, while disruptive, was characterized by periods of relative calm punctuated by escalations. Both sides seemed to recognize the mutual benefits of trade and engaged in negotiations, albeit with limited success. The current escalation, however, suggests a more profound shift in the relationship. The gloves have come off, and both sides seem prepared to absorb significant economic pain to achieve their objectives. The current trade war is unfolding against a backdrop of growing strategic competition between the US and China. The US sees China's economic rise as a challenge to its global hegemony and has sought to contain China's influence. China, for its part, is determined to secure its economic future and achieve its goal of national rejuvenation. This clash of ambitions has fueled the trade war and made a negotiated settlement more elusive. April 2025 marked a turning point in the US-China trade war. The US, under the leadership of former President Trump, escalated tariffs on a wide range of Chinese goods to a staggering 145%. This aggressive move sent shockwaves through global markets and signaled a hardening of the US stance. China, refusing to back down, responded in kind. Beijing slapped retaliatory tariffs of 125% on a range of US products, targeting sectors seen as vulnerable to economic pressure. This tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs represents the most significant escalation of the trade war to date, and has cast a long shadow over the global economy. The impact of these tariffs is already being felt by businesses and consumers on both sides of the Pacific. The April 2025 tariff escalation marked a departure from previous rounds of the trade war in both its scope and severity. The tariffs imposed were significantly higher than those seen in the past, impacting a broader range of goods. This escalation signaled a shift in strategy, with both sides seemingly willing to endure short-term economic pain to achieve long-term strategic objectives. China's economic landscape has undergone a significant transformation in recent years. Recognizing the vulnerability of its export-oriented growth model, Beijing has embarked on a strategic shift towards greater self-reliance. This shift is driven by a desire to reduce dependence on foreign markets, particularly the US, and build a more resilient and sustainable economy. A key element of China's strategy is a renewed focus on domestic demand. By boosting domestic consumption, China aims to reduce its reliance on exports and create a more balanced and sustainable growth model. This shift is evident in the government's policies, which increasingly prioritize domestic consumption and investment over export-led growth. China's decreased reliance on US exports is a testament to its evolving economic strategy. Once heavily dependent on the US market for its economic growth, China has successfully diversified its trading partners and reduced its reliance on any single market. This diversification has made China more resilient to external shocks and less susceptible to pressure from the US. While the US has sought to decouple its economy from China's, the reality is that the two economies remain deeply intertwined. The US remains heavily reliant on Chinese goods, particularly in key sectors such as manufacturing, technology, and consumer goods. This dependence stems from decades of integration, with US companies establishing complex supply chains that rely on Chinese manufacturing prowess. The US reliance on Chinese goods is particularly acute in certain essential product categories. From pharmaceuticals to electronics, China plays a critical role in supplying the US market with vital goods. This dependence has become a strategic vulnerability for the US, as the trade war has demonstrated. The US's continued reliance on Chinese goods highlights the challenges of decoupling two deeply integrated economies. Decades of globalization have created complex and interconnected supply chains that are difficult and costly to disentangle.